Good evening. Welcome back to the PPC Questions and Answers show. My name is Jason Rothman. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, the great Chris Schaefer. Chris, are you ready for another Q&A?
Why? You're still Jason, but first of all, it's not evening. You always say hello. Once 2 years, and I think I know you, and you always surprise me. I guess that's a good thing. I'm never really going to be, always on my toes. Anyway, Jason, you have a question for me? Because today I'm the answer guy.
You're poking the beast, Chris. You know what I was thinking about? You do your little CrossFit, but when it comes down to it, I was thinking about that the other day. I stormed off the last couple of weeks because I was mad. Mm-hmm. Imagine if we recorded together.
Oh, man.
Just brawled.
I know. I want to. Like, it was a year ago. I was begging you to come see me and let's do it live, but you just won't leave your house. You won't leave your house.
I don't work out of my house. I work out of a studio.
Oh, right.
Chris, this guy called me, got mad. Little side story, because I didn't want to take him on, and I was very polite and respectful, but then he was a mover, so he was just crazy. And then he left a comment on the YouTube channel that this guy's a loser in his mom's basement. So I'm in the studio, and this is a little side office next to my Class A office building. So let's get to state.
It looks like you're in a prison cell to me. But
just wait. I keep promising it, but just wait. Yeah, I've got it coming. My banner there. So today's question comes from Stacey from Exeter in the UK. Chris, this is a global day here.
Yes.
At PPC Questions and Answers. So Stacey says, "Hey, Chris and Jason, thanks for all your hard work and generosity on both podcasts. You have helped improve my AdWords knowledge.
There we go.
More importantly, confidence managing accounts tenfold. Also, what a fun show. I tend to listen whilst driving, and more often than not, I look pretty strange because you're on the wrong side of the road, which is not that difficult, as some of your shows have me in stitches." So there I am laughing away to myself. I get some funny looks in traffic jams. Anyway, a question for your Q&A podcast. When reporting to clients, do you normally compare your key metrics against the previous month or the same month previous year? Or does it depend on circumstances and seasons? I'm never really sure what is best. Thanks again. Best wishes, Stacey from Exeter, UK. Now, Chris, let's talk about comparisons. When do you put them on reports? Why not? And how often are you using them? Every single time you log into an AdWords account each week to do optimization, are you looking at comparisons?
No.
Neither am I. And that's the point I wanted to make to start. No. This doesn't have to be an every time thing.
No, definitely not. I look at overall metrics for the past, 30 days and this month and kind of compare what the trending is. But no, I don't go in and immediately check how are we doing 30 days to 30 days. Gotcha. It's definitely not the case. So it sounds like what you want to know is how can you best effectively communicate how a campaign is performing? And I think the best way to do that is to give small picture and big picture. Okay. Big picture is going to be, here's how we've progressed in the past, 3 to 4 to 5 months. Here's how we've progressed, even bigger pictures. Here's how we were doing compared to 1 year ago. Okay. And honestly, I will bring that up, even if it's sometimes even if it's a bad, a bad number. Conversions have gone down or something like that. Mm-hmm. But you never in my communications with clients, I never leave it at a numbers game. I don't just say conversions have gone down and clicks have gone up and we're doing worse. I always try and dig a little bit past that initial layer and say, but if you remember, what we decided to do was drop our position to, second and third position to try and save money. So we've gotten more clicks and more traffic. The conversions aren't quite as good, right, but we feel that the conversions are, better quality. You're closing 50% instead of 20% now. So, right, it's never just a numbers game. The last thing you want to do is make this a numbers game. And for me, it has to be a communication about more than just what's on the page. Jason, what about you?
All right. So in terms of management, I will manage many accounts before I feel the need to, on one of them, go and look at like last year's data this month or last month's data compared to this month's. I only typically do that when I have a problem I'm trying to solve. So if a client calls me and says, "Hey, man, our calls are down, like we got to figure out what's going on," then I'll compare to last month and see if they're really down, and I'll try to figure out where the leads were coming from last month versus this month and why they are down in that, or I'll look at how they were doing last year. That's usually when I'm doing comparisons. But Chris, people watch and listen to these shows because they get honest, genuine answers from us. So I'm going to give one. I am not a fan, Stacey, of comparisons on reports. Like what Chris was saying, everything can be a numbers game. Yeah. So yeah, your click-through rate may have gone down month over month, and that looks bad. But Chris just told you, okay, but the strategy was to lower the cost per click, and that resulted in a lower position. So we had good with that. Clicks went up, but because we're in a lower position, click-through rate went down. So I just don't like that everything becomes the focus. Like it just leads to so many issues, Chris, when everything is being compared month over month. And then the problem with comparing previous year to this year in that given month is there's just so many issues. Like what if a client did a really bad job this month at answering the phone, Chris? Or what if a year ago we had another campaign turned on that was affecting the data from one of their old campaigns that we tried to run for a month? It's just
or that stupid web developer put the conversion on the landing page and not the thank you page of the landing page.
And a year ago our conversion rate was 40% instead of 15% this month, and it looks horrible, negative 300% or whatever.
Yeah,
there's so many bad things that come up with comparisons that as a business person who's trying to primarily, this is the number one thing, do a good job for clients so they have me back month after month. That's the number one goal, and I do that, but I'm also not trying to go out of my way to make my job harder to do that by giving them all these comparison numbers, that don't effing matter, and just clutter up the results in people's minds. So I stay away from them. And Chris, my biggest clients that really do track all conversions and focus on everything, they don't give a damn, Chris, about comparison metrics because it doesn't matter. They want to know what I did for them this month. And if it wasn't good enough, they're going to fire me. And that's what it comes down to. So they don't care how it looked against last year. They have a number in mind that they want to hit. And if I don't hit it in that month, I'm dead and on the street. So my best clients who run the best businesses, they don't worry about click-through rate year over year, month over month. They have their cost per conversion goal in mind. Their AdWords manager better hit it or they'll find a new one. And so both for myself running a business and not having to answer dumb questions that come up from all these comparisons, and for the clients, getting them focused on truly the only thing that matters, the number of leads you got and the cost per lead, I don't do comparisons on everything.
Yeah. I think great. I love the honesty and it totally transparent. Absolutely. So Stacey from the UK, I hope that answers your question. We both don't like the numbers game. We both like to be honest and transparent with what we're trying to communicate. And it really comes down to the client. Yeah. Or your boss. You have to interpret the way that they want the data, not necessarily the way that you want to try and present it. Need to put a spin on it that they're going to understand what's going to matter to them. So, all right, Jason, take us out.
Bye. Bye.
Yeah, great job.
Bye.
Searchpodcast.com. Send your questions.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.